0, 1. Let's get started.
Why they stopping me?
What's up, everybody? As we're standing on business, I am Reverend Dr. Nicole B. Simpson. Every once in a while, I'll say the Reverend. Every once in a while, I'll say the Doctor. CEO, President of Harvest Wealth Financial. We're laying the foundation of us being financially free together because we're minding our business. With all of the craziness that's going on, we are really tuning out all of the noise and focusing on us. And so one of the things that we talked about was starting where we're standing, and now we're dedicating this time for people with a W-2 income. So the first thing that I told you about was what? I told you health insurance. The second thing that we discussed was the life insurance. The third thing is where we get way off track. And I'm going to tell you why. Those things come out right when you know those are the things that you need to get. But if I could take you back for a moment, this almost always happens. It almost always happens. And if you catch me on tour, you'll hear me say this to individuals. When you get your first job, I want you to think back. Now, for me, it was a long time ago when I got my first job. I'm actually going to tell you, I was making like $3.35 an hour. So I was a teenager. I've been working for a very long time. I promise you I was. So first thing that people generally do when they start working is they calculate how much it is that I earned, and then they determine how many hours that I work, and then you'll multiply how many hours I work times how much it is that I earn, and you're expecting that dollar amount. And when you get your first check, feel me on this one, when you got your first check, what was the first thing that you said? Who in the world is OASDI? And where are these taxes going? That was your very first lesson that Uncle Sam takes it, whatever it is, off the top. OASDI is old age survivors disability and unemployment. It's the very thing called Social Security, that Doge, the things that we're not supposed to be paying attention to because it's a smoke screen. Doge is trying to take away today. I'm just going to say this. If you're working with someone that is a professional, that's pragmatic, look at how much you're relying upon these resources. I'm going to get back to that later on down the line. But that's the first lesson that you get when you get your first paycheck. The second lesson is that they take out federal and state taxes. You may not have known that they were going to do that, but they did. And these things become very impactful because now you're frustrated because you didn't know. And so when it's the first decision that you make that really will help you be financially free and it's left up to you, we oftentimes don't opt into it. That is saving for your retirement. It depends on what time in your life you actually get that first professional job. But when you get that first professional job and they start taking out those other benefits, the first thing that will go is, I don't want any more money coming out of my check. Now, I'm going to pause before I give my information because here's the thing that I want you to understand. Times are changing. When I first started this journey, they had defined benefit plans, and there are still some pensions out there today. If you still got a job with the federal government, you might get a pension. I don't know, but you shouldn't rely upon that. There used to be defined benefit plans and pensions, and so you knew you were getting a set amount of dollars every month once you came into retirement. Kind of changed. That's baby boomers. Maybe you still work for a company that you're getting a benefit from that, would offer you that. But most individuals have what we call defined contribution plans. And so you'll hear 401k, 403b, something to that nature. That's what it is that you're going to receive. So let me break this down for you. When we first started, I am of the Generation X. I'm in that age bracket. But anyway, as a Generation Xer, that's when they first started pushing more defined contribution plans, which means they say retirement is on you. We're not going to be responsible. We're not giving you a check every month. Retirement is on you. And now we, unbeknownst to those individuals that may not have been in the industry, we didn't put our money immediately in a retirement option available, because already, look, they had their hands in our pockets without explaining to us what was going on anyway. You know what I mean? They were taking out taxes and that OASDI that I talked about. And so when we get the chance to make the first informed decision about comprehensive financial planning and laying a firm foundation, it is, do you want to contribute into your retirement vehicle? Now, I'm going to use 401k as an example. And most people say, no, I want all my money. I need all my money. And then when we think about it, 59 and a half seems so far away, depending on when you started your first professional job. I'm just saying, it feels like it's far away. And so we don't want that. We don't want to put any money aside. But it is the very thing that you should do. Generation Xers are feeling the pain even right now, because many individuals, it took years and they're kicking themselves because, oh my gosh, I didn't save enough and now I got to work an extra 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Here's what I want to let you know. The sooner you start, the earlier you start, the better off that you will be. And so you want to start saving in your retirement vehicle. Now, it can be a 401k, 403b, TDA, any retirement vehicle that you have on your job. And the next thing that you ought to do is you should look to see if they match you. Now, I made this commitment that I was going to have, these be short and sweet. So I'm going to have to do a part 2 to the part 3. Yep, part 2 to the part 3. Yep, I'm going to have to do a part 2 to the part 3 of this one, because I really need you to get this. If you really, truly want to be financially free, and we're starting where we're standing, and we're all standing on business as we're minding our business in this year, then I'm going to have to break it down just a little bit more. So catch me next time with the next part of what we need to do in retirement to get this thing started the right way.
0